Good dog, and welcome back to the Norwegian campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Lots of ships still moving around here. Let's see, where is that? There it is. The big British task force. Where are they heading? Okay. Looks like they're heading here. Or something? Fine. I can send out something to fight them once they get there. Meanwhile, I had yeah, this force here intended to catch up to them, but I kind of missed again. So they are going back to let's try and take Ceylon. That might work. Might be a good idea. And then later on, when I have the spare tonnage, I'm gonna take the Indias because they're pretty valuable. Also, some pretty big ports, especially Bombay. Let's just see. Trincomalee? No, no, tiny ports. Somewhat sizable, but mainly Bombay. That's a pretty big port. And Karachi. So that should give me plenty of space to put my ships. And then also Australia. I'd like to take that too. But first of all, nothing I can do this turn. So we're just gonna march on. Alright, let's see what we got. Also, I was asked to design some Corvettes or something using the smallest destroyer type hulls, just with the latest technology. So might do that after fighting a couple of battles. And that was Perfect Tangent asking me for that. Let's see, what do we got? We got a Viking. It is no good for this kind of fight. It's a torpedo spammer, not a gunboat. The J-48s are definitely gunboats. So we're gonna see how they stack up against a French destroyer worth, wow, quite a bit more than these two. Like 4 times what this entire force is worth combined. It does have a lot of guns, though. I mean, for all you can say about how overpriced it is, it does have a almost light cruiser-like levels of firepower. Let's see. Am I going to use the Viking anyway? Just as a torpedo delivery device? Maybe. I'll keep it around. Well, I got 5.2s, they got 5.2s. I've launched some torpedoes. They will probably not hit. Oh, maybe. That's a lot of torpedoes. We might actually get a couple of hits here. So that's a pretty big enemy destroyer. There we go. Yeah, we got some torpedo hits. Got 2 of them. We might get some with the next wave as well. No. Because flooding from the first wave slowed it down too much. But Viking 29 may now actually try and make use of those torpedoes. Might work. So far we've taken no damage, and the French super destroyer is almost almost gone. I don't think the Viking torpedoes will hit. Nope. So that went way better than it had any rights to go. Mainly down to lucky torpedo hits at the start. 50,000 victory points for sinking one destroyer. Nice. Here we go. That is a kind of a battle. We've got Jotunheim. That is... I gotta rename this. It is not the Tordenskjold of the Tordenskjold class. This is one of the captured British battlecruisers. But I think we can sink this. Should not be too much of a challenge. Let's see, battlecruisers. These are 32 knot battlecruisers, not 28 knot. So it's just gonna be a huge mess if they try following Jotunheim. Destroyers will not be needed for this. Probably not the light cruiser either. And this single heavy cruiser I can send home as well. These four will get to follow the battlecruisers, because they got the same top speed. Alright. Cornwall is spotting Jotunheim. Am I spotting the enemy yet? Not yet. I guess that's mainly just down to my my ships being a lot bigger. You're following that one, right? Yes, now you are. Good. I got plenty of big gun firepower. They had 2 heavy cruisers, right? I got 2 ships with 18-inch guns. And 1 with 13s. And I am spotting them now. They're quite far away. So we're just gonna have to get a little bit closer. Do I dare drop speed, or is that just gonna mess up everything? Probably will. There we go, we are firing. Jotunheim, not quite in range yet. Tordenskjold is in range. There we go. Jotunheim is firing as well. We're gonna go with HE on the big 18-inch guns. That's because I know now that that tends to do a lot of damage to extended armor belts. At least sometimes. 1.5. Oh, they're different classes. Oh, 1.5 extended belts, both of them. There we go. That's what happens to your extended belt. 4 belt penetration for like 10,000 damage, give or take. Kanadi is opening up with her 13s. Theseus is almost down for the count. Kanadi, I think you're better served firing AP actually, but just you, not the other one. Those 13s. Jotunheim hasn't really done too much yet. I think she just did something. Blew up half the enemy heavy cruiser. My heavy cruisers can... okay, they already did switch to the light cruiser. Cape Town. But it's not quite in range yet. It's not a good day to be a British cruiser. Let's see. You can have this one on the thumbnail, I guess. Unless I end up designing a very interesting Corvette. Theseus sinks. Now, if the AI builds another ship on a different hull with the same name, is it the same ship? You see, Jotunheim is still targeting Cornwall. Twiddingel has switched to one of the light cruisers. That is fine. You can actually auto-select your ammo now. Oh. These only have 2 belt layers? Citadel 3. Are these the ones that will never flood? Well, there goes the other heavy cruiser as well. Just the lights left. You can actually choose your own ammo as well. They do have a lot of torpedoes. So gotta kind of watch out for that. If they start getting close, I could take a lot of damage. that I would like to not take. Come on, Jotunheim. Let's see what your big guns can do. Not too much, actually. There you go, flash fire. Yeah, these are the ones that just don't flood. So I think we're going back to HE on the big 18-inch guns. I might just overpen the extended belts on these actually with my HE. Four belt overpen. Maybe it's better to rely on AP and hope I can get full main belt penetrations. Maybe that is the trick. So that's a 5-inch main belt and 2 on the second inner belt. Times 4, that's only 8. Which is easy. It's too much for my HE to go through, but the AP can handle it now. AP. Let's see how that works. There come a couple of torpedoes. I should be paying more attention to that. But we're fine. They had one that would probably have hit, but it detonated in the water. So, a bit of luck there. Yeah, they just don't flood, do they? So they're gonna keep coming at full speed. Even though they've taken a lot of damage. Full speed unless I knock out their engines. But I probably won't do that if I can't flood them. That's typically what kills engines, is flooding. I'll maneuver these a bit. Just in case these unsinkables come close with torpedoes. High flyer, last one left. Another spread of torpedoes just missed Jotunheim. I wasn't even watching. But all is well that ends well. And high flyer is about to end. There we go. Alright. Let's see. How many more battles do we have this month? I think that was it. At least of the mandatory ones. Okay. Western Denmark. They're trying to invade. I've taken Madagascar. from France. Do I have any active... Yeah, I do have an active invasion against France. Against France itself, actually. So that is something. So they are sending a lot of ships here. There's that big British task force, which is headed right for here. I got a couple months left here. 0. Why is that 0 now? Because some ships moved through there? Maybe? Anyway. Here's the invasion of Florida. So we're gonna have enough tonnage for that, I'm pretty sure. Everything they have is moving over to Denmark. Gotta move this over here, because I need more tonnage. Let's see. Do I have any like battle cruisers hidden away somewhere? Except for the museum ships here, which I am aware of. Wasn't there... I gotta go through here and find out where it is, I guess. Where are you? North Sea. That's not you, is it? No, that's the new one. Is it here? Come on. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So they've been kind of mixed up. I see. We need about 50 some thousand tons here to pull that off. We can manage. There we go. New battleship and 2 more cruisers. Nice. So we've taken... not taken any of this yet. We're gonna take them both next turn. Alright, that should free up some tonnage. Excellent. So we got active invasion against France, against United States. Let's do one more against Britain. Sail on. It doesn't even need much. That does not need much. So we can send actually these cruisers up here and deal with this. And then next turn, these guys might attempt to take Eastern India. Might be a good idea. I'm taking... is that Pakistan I'm invading? It is. And successfully so. Nice. Let's do a convoy battle. And then design some corvettes. Liberty class destroyer versus J4809. Alright. Liberty class. Is it a good one? I've forgotten. I can see the transports. There is the enemy destroyer. Alright. Few bulkheads. Minus beam plus draft. 17-kilometer torpedoes. 24-inch. Electrics, I think. Yeah. The guns are pretty decent. 3 single barrels. 5.8s. And 1 4.2. I mean, this is not bad at all. I think I should be able to outgun it, though. It should be a pretty even fight. And that's certainly not a bad destroyer for 140 million. I mean, just in terms as a torpedo delivery platform, it's not as affordable as a Viking, but nothing is ever going to be. Unless you do what I do and design them in like 1900 and just keep updating them after the hull is supposed to be obsolete. That's maybe a little bit exploitative, but that's how the game works. So, let's see, are those transports in... They are in torpedo range. Let's switch the guns to Liberty, keep the torpedoes on the transport. And hope we can get lucky. There we go, first 5, leaving the tubes. Next 5. Yeah, the torpedo launch angles are not amazing. On the J48s. And I don't think this destroyer is gonna run into the torpedoes. I might run into its torpedoes, though. That was close. And that's even with the best sonar. I only spot them quite close. I've lost my funnel already. At least now I'm starting to score some hits in return. And some flooding. I think I've got them now. accuracy is now way worse than mine, because they lost the tower. There we go. Nice. Of course the torpedoes did nothing, but it's the thought that counts. Should have just switched the torpedoes to target the DD itself once it was actually coming for me, and not just circling the transports. They have torpedoes. Long range? Not very. Oh, not bad. 17 kilometers almost. But they didn't launch. They got shredded. Nice. Alright, now let's wait for the Americans to send more ships here and concentrate in the naval invasion. I think it will be easier to hunt them down, and also more fun to fight if they are like all in one force, rather than just single ships, which is mainly just tedious. They're not sending anything here. I've sent some ships here. Where did I send the Pearl Harbor battlecruiser squadron? Is that this one? No. These? No. Where did I send them? Ah. No, I know. It's these. Yeah. I sent them over here after they'd taken Alaska or something. I think I only used some cruisers to take Alaska, because that's all I needed. And I sent them here to Asia, and then they've been hunting this huge British task force that's now over here. Alright, that's what happened. I got momentarily confused. Now, let's see if we can design some corvettes. So we got modern gunboat and guard ship. Modern gunboat has 84 resistance. That's pretty good for a destroyer. Guard ship has 10. It's gonna... we can do one of each. Just do the guard ship first. Even maxed out at... let's make it tiny. I mean, if we're gonna design a tiny ship, let's actually make it tiny. 28 knots, so it at least can keep up with a battleship. We got basic tower, minimal tower, and front tower. Yeah, this works, I guess. It needs a secondary tower. Huge funnel. More reasonably sized funnel. Nice. Main guns, at least one is needed. That barbette looks huge on this tiny ship. That doesn't even fit. We can go with 4-inch main guns. That almost looks like a monitor. The gun is that big. Like so. It does need a torpedo launcher. This is a guard ship, was it? I mean, 5 torpedoes. Can I make them 24-inch, or is that just too much? No, that somehow works. Okay. Okay. Whatever you say. I mean, we even have weight to spare. 222 with auxiliary 3. And the same with auxiliary 4. I mean, none of this weighs that much. Sure. Some of this stuff doesn't even add to the weight. And the cost is still basically nothing. So we're just gonna max it out. And what kind of pen do we get here? With capitalistic 2. I mean, we can go through destroyer armor with this. Let's put that up there, give it slightly better arcs of fire. .1% flash fire chance. Sure. Triple base, we're at 1%. That's still almost nothing. We don't need increased. There's the shell size. Everything is kind of offset here. It seems. Yeah, there we go. We can go through destroyer armor with this. Oh, did the wrong thing again. 9.9 with AP. 9.5. Not a big difference. Electro Hydro. Auto 2 reloading. Oxygen torpedoes, of course. Coincidence. Sonar, there we go, overweight. But not by that much, really. If we reduce the, okay, the range thing doesn't make a huge difference. If we reduce number of shells carried, and also the torpedoes, because we're probably only getting at a couple of shots off before this thing no longer exists. What is even the torpedo spotting range here? I mean, it's not a huge range, is it? Even the spotting range with radar 3 is kind of bad. But that is what it is. Let's reduce the deck armor. Let's have the belts be nice and thick. 41 calibers in length. Now I can give some armor to the turret, 1.6 inches, so it doesn't get blown up. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Can I put a secondary gun on here somewhere? I mean, kind of. There are some slots for it. I think that's mostly useless. Interestingly, it can have 3-inch guns too as additional main guns. If it was a little bit bigger, I might find room for those. But I think that's good enough. I have the 500 series kicking around somewhere. I think I deleted the design. But the ships themselves are in a port somewhere. So this is going to be the 300 series of guard ships. 300 because 300 tons. Simple. So they're just going to be in a couple of ports. And that's it. But you can imagine this having at least... it's going to make an enemy reconsider before going into one of my ports. Because you got the guns here to take care of enemy destroyers. Or whatever kind of craft they try to infiltrate a port with. And if they try with anything bigger, well, we got, got a nice spread of 24-inch torpedoes here. But that's about it. It can't really do much other than that. So let's try with that other, the Corvette design. The gunboat. Modern gunboats. Can we make it go 28 knots? Maybe, maybe not. We're gonna make this quite tough though. Because the main thing it's got going for it is a base resistance of 84. Or 134 when maxed out with the displacement. So I want to kind of play off of that. The tower selection is certainly not its greatest strength. Yeah, it's kind of bad. Is that funnel backwards? It almost looks as if it is leaning forwards. It's not just me, is it? I'm not just seeing that. I'm trying to line it up with some vertical No? No. It just really looked that way. I guess it wasn't. Because that would, 2 of those would be 22 tons. That's 1 ton lighter than this. And the same funnel capacity. So, yeah. I'm gonna go with 2 of those. Can I, like, move them a little bit closer? Like so? Right. Oil 3 and gas turbines. That leaves me with a lot of displacement to spare. Excellent. Now for guns, 4 inches the maximum here. Also. Square barbette. Is it centered? I think it is. And I guess I do need torpedoes on it just because it's a requirement, but this is going to be a thoroughbred gunboat. Come on. There we go. That's going to be for the anti-aircraft gun. There we go. Close as I could get it. Main guns are going to go with the triple 4-inch gun. Torpedo launcher, one needed. I mean, we're going to put that there. Secondary gun. Can I make it wider? And put down more of these. No? Not really. Even if I max it out? 10% wider? Not even singles. Okay, so how about 3-inch? Triple right there. And no, there's still no room for these. If I make them hang on. It's gonna mount it somewhere. And then make it a 1.6. See if it fits anywhere then. No? Still too big. Unfortunate. But that's how it is. I just wish I had some better towers to mount on this. Anyway, let's assemble the rest of the ship. It doesn't need to be plus 10% beam now. We can do plus 5. Because I couldn't fit anything there anyway. Range is probably better than it needs to be. Let's see, 12-19. 12-14, so it is lighter in this case. Let's see, we are certainly packing on the weight now, but not too bad. Certainly not too bad. Let's see, what is the flash fire chance? 0.5, not too bad. Can I make them 24-inch? That still works. Gonna do reduced torpedo. I guess I don't have to because they weigh almost nothing. Maybe a little bit too light, in my opinion. At least the spotting range and torpedo spotting range is not too bad in this case. Not too much deck armor, because I figured out that doesn't really do anything. Uh, 43. Let's make them 45s. Was 18. That's 45 calibers in length. Can I make them 4.2s? Yes, I can. And a 3.9 as well. Actually outranging the 4-inch guns. Interesting. Because it's a 60 calibers in length. Interesting. Alright, we got 10 tons to spare. I don't really, I don't know, RDF. Oof, that's heavy. That just about works. 48 million. But that is some decent, decent firepower, actually. Let's see, what is the, 100 and... that's more resistance than some battleships. Almost 155 resistance. Minus 73 gun damage. And that's just from the resistance. I get a little bit more from the beam. Minus 9.5 there. So that's minus 76 in total gun damage taken. Not bad. The beam gun damage modifier is applied after the resistance modifier. Just so you know. But there we go. That is the K 55. K for a Corvette. Yeah, I'm liking it. It is, as a destroyer, kind of the same as the Jallarhorn is for a light cruiser. If you haven't seen the Jallarhorn class before, they've been in some battles. I've got them stationed around. You can take a look at it now if you haven't seen it. So it's for a light cruiser, it's fairly slow, but it's well armored and very tough, and it's got a lot of firepower. So it cannot really do classical light cruiser type of jobs, only 24 knots. And I wouldn't count on it to fight anything bigger than a light cruiser. But it does a very good job fighting light cruisers. Because sinking it with light cruiser type firepower is very hard, if not impossible. Just because it's got, you know, decent armor all around and a lot of firepower and stuff. In fact, let's give these old boats a refit, because they haven't been refit for a while. See if I can make them a little bit lighter with auxiliary 4. Yes. That did get lighter, right? 429. 420, yeah, a little bit lighter. A little bit. And... ooh, nope, not anti-flood 3. That is not possible. Got diesel 2 engines. Gas turbines are too heavy for this. Interesting. Range is pretty good. Would be interesting to see if I can increase the speed by 1 knot. Not really. How heavy would it be if I push it to 28? That's not possible. So we're sticking to... let's try and push it to 25. And then reduce the range. Because it's just a harbored protection ship. It doesn't need to have that kind of range. Give it slightly better radar and sonar. Maybe heavy shells? No, that's too heavy. Fine, like that then. Pretty much as it was. Yeah. Okay. I think we're keeping it like this. But with some of the repeatable techs I've gotten the last decade or so, these guns are now pretty punchy. Its main weakness is still... well, the spotting range isn't too bad with radar 3. Actually. And torpedo spotting range is kind of poop though. But, yeah, there we go. So yeah, I think this would be pretty effective against enemy destroyers. Not very good against anything else, but against an enemy destroyer, yeah. And, you know, some torpedoes as a last-ditch attempt to do some damage to, if it does end up fighting something bigger. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed my little attempt at a Corvette. I might as well build a bunch of them because they don't cost me much. Same with the 300 class, which is very, very inexpensive. If a little bit weak against everything, but at least it doesn't cost me much when it dies. Goodbye, and take care.